When we think of World War II, we picture armies and epic battles, tanks rolling across fields, soldiers charging into the unknown, and the thunder of artillery echoing through ruined cities. But beneath the surface, another war raged. A war of resistance, waged not by armies but by ordinary people forced to make extraordinary choices. By 1944, the Polish Home Army, the largest underground movement in occupied Europe, had nearly 400,000 members, ordinary men and women, not professional soldiers but teachers, shopkeepers, students, and parents. Across Europe, from the icy streets of Norway to the sun-baked villages of Greece, people formed secret networks, risking torture and death for themselves and their families, simply for daring to say no to oppression. Yet, they persisted, driven by the belief that resisting tyranny was worth any risk, no matter how overwhelming the odds seemed. Their defiance became a crucial, if often unsung, part of the Allied effort, a testament to human resilience and the power of collective action. The resistance wasn't about grand victories, but about countless small, brave acts, quiet moments of courage that together changed the course of history. A printer making anti-Nazi pamphlets in a hidden basement, a railway worker quietly delaying a German train, knowing the risk if discovered, a teenager delivering coded messages through dangerous streets, each trip a test of nerves and loyalty. Each act alone seemed minor, almost invisible, but together, they eroded enemy control and supported the Allies in ways that could never be measured on a battlefield. These movements grew from small, isolated groups into vast, intricate networks, learning to trust sparingly, communicate in code, and survive under constant threat. They became an invisible army, a constant threat the occupiers could never fully extinguish, always lurking in the shadows, always ready to strike. The story of resistance is not just about fighting, it's about hope, unity, and the refusal to surrender, even when the world seemed lost. Even when governments fell and cities crumbled, the spirit of the people endured, unbroken and unbowed. This was a war of 1,000 cuts, delivered by ghosts, by neighbors, friends, and strangers who refused to be silent. The resistance was born from necessity, fueled by courage, and sustained by the hope that freedom would one day return. Their legacy is a reminder that ordinary people, when united by purpose, can shape the course of history. In the darkest times, even the smallest act of defiance can ignite a movement, inspiring others to stand up and resist. This is the story of those who chose to fight back, and in doing so, changed the world forever. After France's defeat in 1940, resistance began with simple acts, saving fresh bread for neighbors, sharing what little they had, and refusing to let fear dictate their daily lives. Some Parisians found subtle ways to push back, like spilling drinks on German officers or offering a cold shoulder to collaborators in the street. These gestures, though small, reclaimed dignity, uniting people from all backgrounds, students, workers, teachers, and even former soldiers. They published secret newspapers, spread real news, and created escape lines for Allied airmen and Jewish families, risking everything to help others find freedom. Life in the resistance meant constant vigilance, code names, secret meetings, and ingenious communication methods that could mean the difference between life and death. Messages hid in shoes or bread passed hand to hand in the most ordinary places, or they were broadcast as coded phrases by the BBC, reaching listeners in the dead of night and fueling hope. The courage of ordinary people was extraordinary, as neighbors, friends, and strangers became silent allies. A young telephone operator risked her life daily, passing on vital intelligence during her lunch break, knowing discovery could mean arrest or worse. Every small act, every hidden message, chipped away at the occupiers' control, building a network of trust and resistance. The French resistance was built on thousands of such stories, quiet, persistent, and brave, woven together in a tapestry of defiance. Their unity and ingenuity became the backbone of defiance, inspiring hope in the darkest times. In the shadows, they kept hope alive, lighting the way for liberation yet to come. Nowhere was resistance more organized than in Poland. After the 1939 invasion, Poland went underground, creating a secret state with its own government, schools, and press. The Home Army was its military wing, carrying out sabotage, assassinations, and intelligence gathering. Secret schools taught forbidden history. Underground courts delivered justice. This parallel society gave Poles hope and purpose. The Home Army's intelligence on German operations, including the V2 rocket program, was invaluable to the Allies. The Warsaw Uprising of 1944 was their ultimate act, 63 days of desperate, heroic fighting. Though crushed, the uprising became a symbol of unbreakable will. The Polish resistance proved a nation could survive even underground. Their courage inspired all of occupied Europe. In the face of erasure, they declared, "Poland lives." Sabotage was the resistance's lifeblood, disrupting the German war machine without direct combat. In Norway, commandos destroyed the Vemork heavy water plant, crippling Germany's nuclear ambitions. More often, sabotage was subtle: a factory worker weakening engine parts, a dock worker accidentally damaging equipment. These acts slowed production and sowed distrust. Railways were prime targets, tracks removed, bridges blown, trains misdirected. Every derailment forced the Germans to divert troops from the front. In Denmark, small sabotage like sugar and gas tanks became so effective, the Germans struggled to maintain control. Homemade explosives and clever tactics turned infrastructure into a weapon. Each act, however small, drained the occupiers' resources. The resistance proved that determination could turn everyday life into a battlefield. Sabotage was a quiet, relentless war. The occupiers never felt safe. Information was a weapon, and the resistance fought fiercely with words. German propaganda flooded occupied Europe, but secret presses countered with underground newspapers and leaflets. These papers shared real news, exposed atrocities, and spread hope. Producing and distributing them was perilous: hidden presses, stolen supplies, and constant risk of arrest. Couriers, often young, delivered papers in suitcases or under coats, always wary of patrols. For many, these smudged sheets were a lifeline, a sign they weren't alone. Underground publications unified resistance groups, shared coded instructions, and warned of collaborators. The printed word became a tool for survival and organization. Even in secret, ideas could be as powerful as explosives. The occupiers could control territory, but not minds. The resistance's voice could not be silenced. Ink became a weapon of hope. Intelligence gathering was one of the resistance's most vital roles. Ordinary people, cleaners, farmers, dock workers, became the Allies' eyes and ears. They observed troop movements, noted supply shipments, and identified informants. Information traveled through dangerous courier networks, hidden in books or written in invisible ink. Many couriers paid with their lives, but the intelligence they delivered was invaluable. Allied bombings, troop movements, and even D-Day planning relied on this information. The Polish Home Army's discovery of the V2 rocket program was a major coup, allowing the Allies to counter new threats. The quiet work of resistance spies shaped the war's outcome. Espionage was a battle fought in silence, but its impact was thunderous. In the shadows, information was power. Many of the resistance's bravest were young, teenagers and students thrust into a secret war, forced to grow up quickly in the shadow of occupation and violence. Their youth made them ideal couriers and lookouts, able to slip past suspicion and move through cities and villages unnoticed, carrying vital messages and supplies. They organized study groups that doubled as resistance cells, distributed forbidden literature and guided refugees to safety, risking everything for a cause greater than themselves. The White Rose Group in Germany, led by Hans and Sophie Scholl, fought with words, distributing anti-Nazi leaflets until their execution, inspiring others to resist through peaceful defiance. Young people paid a heavy price. Arrest, torture, and death were constant threats, yet they pressed on with unwavering resolve. Yet their energy and idealism fueled the movement, giving hope to those around them and inspiring older generations to act. They became symbols of the future the resistance fought to preserve. Courage knows no age, and their determination lit the way forward. The young proved that anyone can stand up to tyranny, no matter how overwhelming the odds or how great the danger. Their sacrifice was a beacon of hope, shining through the darkest days of war and occupation. Even in the heart of darkness, youth dared to resist, showing that bravery can flourish in the most unlikely places. Their stories remind us that bravery is timeless, and that the spirit of resistance lives on in every generation. The fight for freedom belongs to every generation, and the courage of youth continues to inspire us all. To resist was to live in constant fear. Discovery meant torture, execution, or worse. The Gestapo's brutality and collective punishment threatened not just fighters, but entire communities. A single act of defiance could bring deadly reprisals on innocent civilians. Resistance members faced impossible choices, weighing the cost of action against the safety of their loved ones. Stories of sacrifice abound. Families hiding fugitives, radio operators transmitting until the end, villages sheltering partisans. The psychological toll was immense: double lives, constant suspicion, and eroded trust. Yet within resistance cells, bonds of solidarity and trust grew strong. They became a new kind of family, united by purpose and danger. Their courage was forged in hardship. The price of freedom was high, but they paid it willingly. In the face of terror, they chose to act. Their sacrifice defined the true cost of resistance. When the war ended, the Resistance's legacy became a source of national pride and renewal. Their actions tied down German troops, saved Allied lives, and disrupted the enemy's war machine. On D-Day, the French Resistance's sabotage delayed German reinforcements, aiding the invasion. Beyond military impact, the Resistance restored honor and identity to occupied nations. Their stories inspired post-war leaders and fostered unity across political divides. The Resistance proved that ordinary people could change history. Teachers, farmers, students, and shopkeepers refused to be passive. They chose to fight back, keeping hope alive in the darkest times. Their echo endures, a testament to human resilience and dignity. The spirit of resistance lives on, reminding us that courage can shape the world.